Greetings to you. I'm Michelle Wilson, Capella MBA graduate student, and I have the pleasure of presenting information today that focuses on the famous Krispy Kreme Donut Company. Today's presentation will cover the history, corporate structure, expansion plans, ethics, and corporate social responsibilities of this company. Thank you for your attention while we analyze this Krispy Kreme Donut Company. Krispy Kreme Donut Incorporated is a global chain of donut stores that began its first operation in 1937 out of a small shop in Salem, North Carolina. The company distinguishes itself in a competitive market by offering famous freshly made hot donuts on custom-made equipment using a secret recipe. Products are sold by store locations, convenience stores, kiosks, grocery stores, and gas stations. The market demands attention to everyday challenges of global expansion, including such factors as establishing effective methods of distribution and identifying new customer segments and understanding how to forge a viable distribution path. The Krispy Kreme business operations include donuts, complimentary beverages, and other packaged desserts. It competes within four business segments: company stores, domestic and international franchises, and supply chains. This presentation evaluates the company's transformation, strategic decisions, and its future outlook concerning the expansion of services throughout the United States. We will also take time to evaluate the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, along with economic, socio-cultural, and technical changes in and around the industry segment to provide significant information and yield sound proposals that may better position the operations in the market. The business was established in 1937 by Vernon Rudolph in Salem, North Carolina. Rudolph bought the famous recipe from a New Orleans French chef with intentions to sell pastries to local grocery stores in North Carolina. The first donut was sold on July 13, 1937. Rudolph realized his vision of selling donuts to grocery stores, but that was only the beginning. Eventually, the aroma of the donuts would entice customers to stop at his shop and ask to purchase the donuts from his street store. Due to the rising demand for the donuts, he started selling his product directly to customers passing by on the streets through a hole he created in the wall of his shop. The original Krispy Kreme donut is famous worldwide for its sweet, savory, and creamy glaze that covers a secret donut recipe. Some believe that the original recipe is so tantalizing that even consumers with the strongest willpower find it difficult to resist. The company's first aggressive growth plan happened in the 1990s, from a growth plan which yielded an average less than 2 stores annually to producing over 400 stores in the year 2004. Krispy Kreme Donuts' growth had increased to approximately 19%. From a growth plan which yielded, even so, KKD's market share was less than 10% of the United States donut market. The market leader, Dunkin' Donuts, had built over 5,000 stores by 2004. Krispy Kreme Donut comprises a chain of stores and a parent company, KKD, based in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. As frequently mentioned throughout the presentation, the shops are famously known for their glazed donuts served fresh and hot, and the company owns more than 100 store locations and franchises, many others. The donuts are marketed to grocery stores and supermarkets. The company's business model comprises two business units: store operations and manufacturing and development. The company heavily relies on a franchising model to manage international markets. Kiosks and convenience stores contain freshly made donuts from factory stores. Technology and innovation are designed to influence consumer behavior as much as it is also to improve efficiency. The quick service restaurant segment is not immune to the fast-paced trends and the conditions. Instead, the focus is on providing more consumers with value, speed, and convenience. The QSR leveraged innovation and technology to successfully achieve the three strategic goals. Industry experts credit growth to technological advancements that attract consumers drawn to technology capabilities that offer faster service without compromising quality and value. Statistical analysis denote that there is a rise in the number of adult consumers who are willing to use restaurant technologies such as Wi-Fi. Analysts call attention to five distinct industry advancements that promote efficient customer service and value-added consumer options: robotics, mobile payments, customer reward systems, voice ordering, and artificial intelligence. Continuing to examine Krispy Kreme's expansion strategy must take into consideration its current and forward-looking marketing strategies. Some research literature attributes this industry success to not only marketing strategies, but to also a reliable business model, product quality, sound financial position, and aggressive expansion. Krispy Kreme's presence covers more than 1,000 locations and is popular in countries such as the United States, Canada, Taiwan, Thailand, South Korea, Bangladesh, and Australia. The marketing industry experts often refer to a company's marketing mix for detailed analysis. The phrase, coined by Neil Borden, a Harvard professor, includes specific vital ingredients that involve promoting a brand's selling points that set it apart from competitors. Eventually, Jerome McCarthy simplified this marketing mix into four elements, referred to as the four Ps. The four parts are product, price, promotion, and place. Krispy Kreme has several advantages. As a leading contender in the market of retailers and donut wholesalers, it owns and franchises Krispy Kreme donut stores and operates them locally and across the globe. KKD intends to remain focused on significant store expansions and to drive growth. One of its strengths is its business portfolio, which serves a diverse customer base. Products are sold at a favorable discount to community organizations for fundraisers. Market experts consider it strength to franchise operations and collect fees and royalties, as does KKD. KKD also offers a variety of suitable measures for consumers to save time, effort, while still providing a value-added experience for the customer. Drive-through windows at the factory stores is one of those conveniences. In line with mainstream media are the other convenience and loyalty options previously mentioned throughout the presentation. Cellular phone apps are used to find the closest store, and even more so, a store announcing that the hot light is beaming if you want a hot donut fresh out of the oven. Corporate sustainability has become an essential organizational theory and practice. Scholars continue to struggle with what is tantamount to achieving sustainable principles. Companies over the years have addressed environmental concerns to address pollution, minimize resource use, and improve community stakeholder value. There are several methods companies use to provide an answer to these somewhat complicated societal problems. Some create policies to bring about change and awareness. Some scholars suggest that operations will not become genuinely sustainable unless the culture is somehow changed and required to adopt sustainable principles. Public pressure on corporations to identify innovative approaches to protect the environment and promote social equity are prominent issues. Most research and studies focus on the adoption of sustainable practices, but the primary drivers of the process are external factors, such as environmental regulation and other governmental standards. What's not clear is whether a viable organization must also contend with internal organizational pressure to deploy sustainable practices effectively. This presentation identifies two environmental issues that are on the forefront for the QSR segment, which includes KKD. Growing competition is a constant threat as KKD must contend with Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. One of KKD's strategy to regain control after the SEC investigation was to incorporate coffee into the business model, competing with Dunkin' and Starbucks to attract repeat coffee drinking customers. The coffee addition was a successful strategic decision. The promotion of revenues from beverages have risen from 4% to 12% today. During the early rapid expansion, company executives faced a Securities and Exchange Commission investigation for inappropriate accounting practices. In 2013, the company evolved and changed its strategy to focusing more on slowly repairing the business and ensuring that the foundation was robust enough to withstand future adversities. Business news of deception, theft, and greed has at times dominated the conversation from industry leaders to the workers at the office water cooler. It's on the hometown news channels, cable news channels, radio talk shows, and social media. You can't escape it. The decline of Enron and WorldCom has turned accounting violations and improper financial disclosure into a frequent and regular part of the everyday business conversation. Such corrupt talk erodes at the corporate foundation from all angles and perspectives. Congress reacted in 2002 by creating the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which redesigned federal regulation of corporate governance and reporting to prevent scandals and restore investor confidence. Krispy Kreme suffered penalties and fines ranging from $150,000 to $632,000. Investors lose confidence in companies that engage in fraud and deceit. Overcoming greed requires corporations to not only implement, but also enforce internal ethics priorities at all levels. The company has realized positive revenue and income growth earnings, and in return, demonstrates positive market performance. The quick service restaurant industry is competitive. In the United States alone, the QSR segment is one of the largest segments of the restaurant industry. One of several reasons that contribute to the company's growth and prosperity is attributed to the vulnerability of the QSR segment. Although the segment is reported to be the largest segment in the United States, it is not as susceptible to common economic shifts that some segments endure. Organizational executives suppose that KKD can weather economic downturns because of its product affordability and because of the appeal of its product to all commercial environments. Proposal. Expansion proposal number 1. Chairman and Chief Executive Jim Morgan opines that he is convinced that the company will post significant and consistent growth through increased international sales, including at sites with lots of pedestrians, such as train stations and airports. Critics question whether KKD learned its lesson from the year 2003, when the strategy was to pursue an aggressive domestic expansion from 2001 to 2004. Oversaturation is undoubtedly worth considering in some markets. Oversaturation could lead to reduced sales and add more pressure to the bottom line. Overseas sales have only accounted for 5% of its revenue. The product is a top seller for sure, but critics also point to its one-dimensional existence. Based on KKD's experience and mistakes, this proposal suggests that company executives reconsider its comprehensive expansion plan and conduct a risk analysis of its aggressive policy, and based on those results, modify the forward-thinking plan accordingly. Proposal number 2, micro-franchising. Throughout this company analysis, franchising has been an integral component of KKD's operational structure domestically and internationally. Franchising isn't a new global phenomenon. It has existed in the global economic environment for over 100 years. Like KKD, other companies use franchising to grow business and geographical expansion. It is a common strategic objective. Micro-franchising is a proven business model that affords entrepreneurs opportunities for self-employment by franchising on a smaller scale than the traditional franchising. It has been proven to attract entrepreneurs with low income to overcome particular challenges, establish a business, and create employment opportunities through franchise mentorship. Ultimately, this franchise system could open locations for franchising that might not thrive under the traditional franchise system and could achieve greater expansion and stronger market competitiveness. Rural market expansion proposal number 3. Urban consumer demand is sluggish, according to a Harvard Business Review Journal article. Growth is happening in rural markets in the largest emerging economies. As wages continue to rise, so does the middle class and certain consumer confidence. This trend occurred in countries like Mexico, South Africa, and China, where experts opine that the demand in countryside areas is increasingly more so than in urban areas. Based on a Nielsen estimate, consumption in rural regions is growing 1.5 times faster than in urban areas. Growth statistics include rural Indians trading up, bypassing mere commodities for branded products because of increased purchase power. The source of this growth is due to the migration of manufacturing jobs in the countryside. It is recommended that Krispy Kreme establish cost-effective methods to distribute goods to rural regions, understand how to forge viable distribution paths into the rural areas, identify profitable new customer segments, and earn the loyalty of channel partners and establish connections with the consumers to build a strong first impression. Since the inception of the first Krispy Kreme donut in 1937, Krispy Kreme has maintained its market standing despite its disappointing accounting violations and SEC scandal. Market experts and company executives believe that the company has survived and is thriving. The company plans to embark on yet another expansion plan targeting international markets. While the SWOT acknowledges that opportunities exist in emerging markets and that strategic growth initiatives could be favorable for the company, Krispy Kreme must be cognizant of the potential pitfalls in global economic arena that could devastate market growth and competitive positioning. Micro-franchising appears to be a real opportunity for expansion domestically and internationally through the micro-franchising concept. There has been some demonstrated success abroad with micro-franchising. While KKD is dependent on franchising, the possibility of rural expansion exists through domestic franchising. At current, the distribution model provides products through grocery store chains and convenience stores, but doesn't afford the full experience for a segment of the population of consumers in rural communities. Potential customers residing in these areas miss the red light experience. Thank you for your attention during this presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. And again, I appreciate your attention to my presentation.